But welcome to the podcast.
Hi, guys.
I'm Stefan. This is Josh Bixler and Alex Zavada.
Hello.
Thanks for being on here. Yeah, so obviously, if you guys haven't seen, which I'm sure you have, we were at a little bit of a festival situation that we put on every year. It's called Flite Fest. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it was just this last week.
It was.
And
it was
our
amazing.
Voices are just now recovering from that entire event.
I think I scared my wife when I woke up the one morning. I was like, hello. Just sounded like I ate gravel and swallowed a frog.
It was an intense week.
It was amazing.
Yes. And with that, because Josh, you have a fairly higher pitched voice, kind of like myself.
Yeah.
And Alex has a low one. But that being said, if you wake up and you got, hey guys, then that's going to be a little awkward.
It's gonna be a little awkward for her and stuff. And she, maybe I'm finally growing up.
You know what?
So.
When your kids have a lower voice than you do. That might be an issue.
It's a problem. It's a problem. But man, going back to Flite Fest, not my voice. What an amazing event!
Mm-hmm.
It was incredible to see. Like we were hit with a lot of setbacks.
That's right.
And the only thing that pulled this thing off was the people that attended. And it's such an awesome experience.
Yep. And that's one thing that when we talk about crazy setbacks, we always get ready for this event. We go down usually Monday or Tuesday and start setting stuff up and yada, yada, yada. Well, it just so happens that Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the week leading up to Flite Fest.
Rain.
That's all it did. Literally all rain every day, all day.
I think we first got hit bad on Wednesday. Actually, I mean, the big storm came Wednesday.
The really, really bad stuff came on Wednesday. We got just enough to make everything muddy from like Sunday
before
on.
That. Yeah.
And the sad thing was we actually, Miss Jordan and Austin. Austin's kind of like the godfather of Flite Fest. So he's taking Miss Jordan. She's our event planner. He's really helping her out. We actually had a jump. We thought we were pretty well prepared for this.
Right.
And that rain hit, and then everything got delayed, and it was like, oh my goodness, it's getting crazy before it even starts.
Yeah, and normally, people start coming, Tuesday, Wednesday before the event anyways. So we wanted to make sure that we were prepared for that, make sure everybody's got their situation all under control and they're comfortable and they can enjoy the event and not have to worry about anything. Well, as it always goes, you got to be prepared, kind of like hope for the best but expect the worst. And we had people getting stuck in the mud, you know what I mean, and we had tractors pulling out RVs. And Alex, you can give us kind of a little insight, because that was the first day or two, that's all you were doing, right?
For the most part. I was running around like crazy. So basically the way that we have it laid out is John Fury, obviously Austin's dad, is always super generous to let us have the event there.
Dad and mom.
Yeah, both of them. And it's actually funny because every year we ask them, like, do you want to do this again next year? Because we can move it. And they're like, no, we wouldn't have it any other way. Even after this year with all the property damage and stuff like that, which obviously we're going to take care of. But anyways, the way that it works is we have the event on John. John owns about 30 acres. It's the strip in the middle of the property. And then we also lease some farmland on both the north and south side of John's property to make the grounds that we have Flite Fest on. John's property is really, really packed down, primarily because he has his runway there, his full-scale runway for his RV7. But even the non-runway part is way, way more firm ground than the farmlands. And once this rain hit, everything but John's property, so all the farmlands, which is where Event Central is, it's where the majority of the camping was supposed to be, it's where the day parking, where all the cars are supposed to be, all of that turned into just mush. You couldn't pull anything in. I mean, we had 4x4 trucks getting stuck. We had tractors getting stuck. We had everything getting stuck. So it got to the point where we didn't know what else to do. And John Fury was gracious enough to just be like, let's make them happy. Let's bring them in. So people were driving all over John's runway, all over John's property. And needless to say, I think it was Thursday. By Thursday night, because Friday was when it started turning around. Thursday night I was parking campers, and we actually started filling in south of the event central first. So we did the east side of the property and the west side, and it got to the point by like sunset on Thursday night I was parking campers. They were chasing me on a 4-wheeler, and I'd show them where to go. You had to go fast or you'd get stuck.
Right.
And we just kept filling people in, both RVs and tents, and just kind of, we had a whole plan, but we had to scrap it when the rain came.
Everything got changed.
And I think Thursday night I parked the last camper at about 1 a.m. and by the next day the ground started firming up, and we were finally able to start getting people in into the the event grounds, which is actually the farmland, which was mush, but it was getting firm enough that you could get like trucks in and stuff like that. The key was you just couldn't stop.
Yeah. You had to keep those tires rolling.
You stop, that's where you camp.
But it actually worked out nice because it left a lot of really good campsites, and a lot of those people who kind of sacrificed at the beginning, who were in the thick of the mud, they actually ended up with a really nice campsite close to the flight line. Yep. And for those of you guys that registered early and showed up early and still ended up kind of towards the back of the event, we just want to thank you guys for your patience, because there was not one person that I personally had to deal with that was not understanding and positive, and just they are really part of the reason that we were able to make it happen, because for a little bit there, Wednesday, Thursday, we were not knowing what we were going to do.
That's true.
It was really humbling, when you can throw so many hurdles, and if you think about this, these people aren't just saying, oh, we'll grab an extra couple $100. People that, for a lot of them, this was their family vacation. This was the event that they were going to go to, and some people were going as far as 30 hours away, out of the country. The fact that they would come out there and they weren't disappointed in what they saw, which was, okay, hold off, let's park you tomorrow, or let's park you in the back spot when you should be at the front. Also, were you amazed with how many people Wednesday night? The amount of people there Wednesday night before the event even started filled up whole rows. Like, we had more people there Wednesday night than we did the very first Flite Fest. And that was incredible. But just their hearts, just the fact that they're all so happy to be there. I love the fact that the second they got out, they're looking for their best friends. They're looking to find their buddies. Have they gotten here yet? Let's go ahead and get dinner ready. It just really warmed my heart. Yeah,
and to go back to the point that Alex made, that you guys, the community, was just so gracious with all the things that were going on. Thursday ended up becoming more of like a setup and making sure everything was in order, and like the whole schedule really was thrown off. We didn't really do much that was on the schedule because there was no ability to do so, because we had to make sure everything was set up. And I was on the PA the entire weekend, and not a single person came up to me and asked me on Friday morning, Friday afternoon, whatever, throughout the rest of the week, hey, well, why didn't we do A, B, and C from the schedule on Thursday? Why didn't Thursday happen? Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Not a single person. Nope. And now maybe somebody else, we're talking in the camps or whatever. Maybe you went to somebody else, but I did not hear a single thing. And it was very reassuring and encouraging to me, and humbling to know that first full day that no one could do anything, not a single peep. And everybody's just loving it, hanging out. They said to me more often than not, well, Flite Fest wouldn't be Flite Fest without a little mud and without a little rain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is very true. Yeah.
Well, we used to never get rain in July. It's crazy. One thing that did happen in abundance was the build tents were packed. People couldn't really fly, so what they did, they flooded in the build tents.
That's right.
And they built some of the coolest projects, and they made some of the best friends. Going down through social media, some of the posts that really warmed my heart was, two families together, and it's like, meet Jack. We bumped into each other building on Thursday, and built a great friendship. And you wouldn't believe this, but I, blew through his airplane. And I'm going to butcher names because I'm terrible with names. But it was the coolest thing because these people were connecting. And that's really what the heart of Flite Fest is you said it best, Alex. I think you were the one that coined the term, bring the people you love and the planes you don't.
I think that was Austin.
Oh, was it? We'll give you credit because I always give credit to Austin.
I always take Austin's ideas and make them my own.
Well, I think it honestly describes it perfectly. People.
I always say the planes are cool, but the people are cooler.
Yeah, there it is. That's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Austin, we're sorry we stole your thing, bro.
But that really was heartwarming. I cannot wait for the rest of the community because it's crazy. As many people as we had. What do we have? Was it It was.
I didn't get the final count, but I know we had over 1,600 pilots.
Over 1,600.
From what I heard, right? 16. So was it 1,620 or something like that?
I never heard the final number.
I thought I heard, and we'll probably have to check with Austin and Jordan once again. Don't quote us on any of these numbers because we never know.
1,600 sounds good.
I thought that 16. I thought it was 1,620, 1,650.
Let's just put it this way. I do know for a fact that we had 1,300 plus pilots pre-registered before the event even started.
Okay.
And last year, before the event even started, I think we had 700 or 800, and we ended up with 1,200 last year. So this year we had 1,300 pre-registered. So my guess is we
1,620 sounds correct.
Should be around 1,600 or so.
So if you think about this, I got to see. I think Joe Nola is the world's largest RC fly-in.
They got about 2,000 some pilots.
Did they get 2,000?
I don't know what they did this year, but I know that they've been up there.
I thought this was your 1,750. We can check that out. But how crazy is it? Basically, an electric-only RC event in the middle of Malvern, Ohio.
Yeah, what?
Will definitely be the second largest in the world, and on top of that, all these hurdles are thrown in.
And that's just pilots. So last year we had about 1,200 pilots total, and about 5,000-6,000 people in total attendance over the course of the whole weekend.
Yeah,
so my guess is that this year we're probably around 1,600 pilots, and I would guess 6,000 plus in attendance. So because there was, you could tell there was definitely, when there was an event like a combat or something going on, you could just tell the sheer volume of people that there were more people there, because the event central was kind of similar as far as like the spacing, the amount of space that people had, and it was just, if anything, there was more space there, but it was more crowded. So I think
that's packed.
Yeah.
It was absolutely packed.
And speaking of which, because of the rain on it must have been Thursday, we didn't have any place to put day parkers. We barely even had place to put campers. So what we were doing is we were actually parking them down the road at a stadium.
Right?
Yeah.
And to shuttle them up, we actually bought a school bus. Flight Test school bus. We got one.
My favorite thing was Austin's like, we didn't get to really talk. It's like, I didn't remember to tell you this, but we bought a bus, and I'll talk to you later. And the funniest thing is that at Flite Fest West, we weren't hit with rain. We were hit with, 10-foot high grass.
Yeah.
So we bought a tractor.
Bought a mower, man.
So we bought a mower, and now at this one, we bought a bus. I think the next flying event, we need to buy an airplane.
Yeah, no kidding. It could happen at Oshkosh.
It could. I mean, you never know.
The cool thing is, it just so happened. Like, we were like, how are we going to? Because we had tried shuttling people back and forth with golf carts back 2 years ago when the event was much smaller, and it was just not doable. I mean, it was dangerous. We were, and you couldn't get a lot of people on. So luckily, there just happened to be a school bus down the street that was for sale for $1,500. And icing on the cake was John Fury's brother. Actually, he does all the maintenance for the school systems. He has maintained this bus since it was brand new.
Yeah.
Really?
And he knows it in and out. He knows everything about it. Starts right up. It runs great. We got school bus. It's going to be awesome.
Killing it, dude. We got a school bus.
We could just take that to Oshkosh.
That's what I was telling him. Just get all the inside out and make it awesome.
Yeah, I think, honestly, that school bus is going to get transformed. Of course, we probably should save it for next year when it rains.
Yeah, we need a shuttle.
But at the same time, I really just want to get all crazy on it because...
Dude, that needs to happen.
It's like the Swiss Army knife of vehicles.
Yeah.
Right? Dude, and we can wrap it. We can get some cool stuff in there.
I think we should paint it like a B-17 bomber.
I think it needs to look like a B-17 bomber. And the turrets on the top could be like antennas.
Leave your comments down below. What you think the Flight Test school bus should look like inside and out. You can also 3D, or not 3D print. You can 3D model and send it to us.
That way we don't have to work as hard.
Right. Just show us what you want to look like inside and out.
My mind is spinning. If we only had time. But, it's going to happen.
Yeah, because we got now it's Flight Fest. Now we got Oshkosh coming up. Then we got Flugtag in Pittsburgh. And then I think we're done in the summer, but I'm not 100% sure.
This is one of the craziest things. Once Flite Fest East starts, it starts the most craziest month of our lives.
Every
snowball effect.
So basically, Flite Fest happens, and we go off of that amazing high. And then that following Friday through Saturday, we do a manufacturers camp for our parent company, Lauren International.
Right.
And what we do is we actually engage a whole bunch of awesome young men and women to show them, how Flight Test works, how our business model works, what our manufacturing's like. We also get to do some fun games and interactive builds and some STEM projects with them. So we'll be doing that Friday, and then Saturday there's a big get together with families. They all come out and we fly some demos. And then, luckily, last year we literally had the RVs there, and we got in the RVs and drove off. This year we have till Monday. which is really nice. So
extra day.
So come Monday, we're going to be hitting the road to Oshkosh, and we're going to be doing tons and tons of meetups and content through that whole week. Then we come home the following Sunday night, and then starting Monday, we're finishing off the build for Flute Talk, which is that following Friday.
Yeah.
And,
I know, jeez.
And then I think we're also going to be doing content with Red Bull and skydiving, I heard.
Yeah, we're gonna be skydiving because we won the Flug Tag last year, and our prize was, one of the prizes were jumping out of a plane, skydiving with the Red Bull Air Force. Well, we still have yet to get to do that a year later because of different complications. But yeah, we'll be doing it in Pittsburgh on the 4th, that Friday, the day before we.
It's going to be amazing.
Push the plane off the dock.
You know, it was also amazing, just brought me back. We got to give the biggest shout out. One thing that set this year apart was we didn't just have model aviation. We had general aviation combined. And that was in the form of powered paramotors.
Right.
And Aviator PPG and their aerobatic group called Paradigm Aerobatics came out. And when I say they gave us a gift, I can't express it. They literally came out and entertained the crowd with a Oshkosh world-class style performance.
Yeah.
Yep.
And instead of having 6, they had upwards of 9 pilots flying each night, doing demos, and every night they stepped it up. And Saturday, I think the crowd went nuts, and at the same time, they're speechless with the things they did.
Yeah.
I just loved it.
It really was a perfect fit for the event. I mean,
really
it just kind of it fit the general atmosphere of Flite Fest. And paramotoring is I said it on the announcement. It is kind of like the foam board of general aviation. It is literally the cheapest way you can get into the air and learn how to fly and experience that sensation of flight. You can get into this for less $10,000 to $15,000, and you can get into it, which compared to other forms of general aviation is nothing. It can be very pricey to do it other ways.
Yeah.
Well, and these gentlemen, they're dear friends, they're family to us,
right.
And the way they loved on our community and the way they entertained them, obviously meant a lot to us. But you could just see families you could see this light switch turning on.
Well, yeah, the family's connected to them, but also like I noticed that like John and the Paradigm, they connected to the community.
Yes.
Like
it fit them perfect.
As soon as they got there, and as soon as they saw the event, and how people were interacting, the flying, the fun, it just clicked for them.
Yeah.
It made perfect sense.
It just warms my heart. One other thing they really shocked us with, and I got permission to share this. If anyone doesn't know, we actually got to spend a week with them, and we went through the whole journey of learning how to fly paramotors. Right. At the end of this event, Travis and Eric and them all called us over and at first it was me, but they're like, we got to talk to you. Chad Lewis designed an amazing smoke system. So if you guys see that smoke system, know that that's our long-haired, half-thumbed friend, Chad. And he's just an amazing designer. He's like, we got to talk to you about this. And here what they did is they hooked us up with a long-term loaner. So us four can continue to fly and hopefully bring more people in the flight test group here into paramotors. Right. That's not a small feat. Yep. And that just shows their dedication, because that's something they did not have to do.
By long-term loaner, he means that they gave us a motor and a wing. So if you guys didn't catch the episode, Josh, myself, Austin, and Chad, we actually got to go down to their training school in Florida a couple months ago, and we actually all learned how to fly. We got to solo. We got about a handful of flights in each. But now we got our own gear, and though we can only go up one at a time, we can go up, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And we actually got the opportunity over the weekend before the event started, and then Sunday night after the event ended, we all got a chance to fly, which was cool. So Chad, myself, Austin, and Josh, we all got to go.
Yeah, not me. I'm not. I have yet. So they just keep talking about this all the time. He's twiddling my ear.
It's literally 15 feet from us.
Yeah, and Chad's over there, and I don't. Unfortunately, someday I'll get there.
Yeah, you will get there. And then here's our personal dream and stuff. I think we're all personally working on getting our own paramotors. Yep. But as we get paramotors, we're also looking to get more of our group here involved in this. And I know, Stefan, you're on the hot list for that.
For sure.
a matter of fact, your wife wants you to
yeah,
fly
my
him.
wife. It's funny because like you open a paramotor and you're like, oh, I'm like 5,000 feet above the earth, and something happens. It's like but like she's the crazy nut job of the two of us. She's like, I want to go skydiving, I want to go paramotor, I want to go jump out, I want to go bungee jump, I want to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, slow down there, honey. We got kids. We got just chill. We got a house. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to die.
After I landed, I like everybody was like, oh, good job. Blah, blah, blah. I went to your wife, and like it seemed like she was like almost like frustrated. She's just like, I'm so jealous right now.
That sounds exactly like my wife.
I think we could have probably put that on her back, hooked her up, and said, just listen to Eric, and she would have tried it.
She would
was ready to go.
Oh, 100%. She would have popped straight in there and been like, okay, well, I'm ready to go. Don't just let me know what to do.
Here's one of the coolest things about it is flying paramotors alone is cool. It's a whole different experience. We've described that in our videos. I strongly encourage you to go watch it. But flying with friends, especially in areas that you're familiar with, is even more special. And Tucker was there, Eric was there. Tucker wanted to get a vlog. So I don't know why you guys are gracious enough to let me, but I got the opportunity to fly with Tucker and Eric.
Yes.
And it was actually going to be, it was my first uncoached flight, which is really sketchy. And
did you take off without instruction?
Yeah.
Nice.
So actually, Eric was yelling at me because it was a no-wind takeoff. And with wind, the wing is really pulling back on you, so you can just lean back and really throttle into it, and you're not getting pushed forward. With a no-wind takeoff, you hit that throttle, and it was like jet propulsion.
Yeah.
It's like, boom,
you got to keep your legs up with
oh, geez, you got to
they'll fall behind.
So all I did here with Eric was sprint, but also with what little wind there was, I wasn't taking off the length of the field. It was perpendicular straight towards the Fury's RV. And he's like, okay, just take off and thread the needle between the RV and the garage. And I was like, what? He's like, you got this. So luckily, thank goodness for him. He knows what he's doing. We got it. And we got up in the air. And it was one of the neat things. Now, you guys are my brothers. I can't express how much I love these guys at Flite Test. And Eric and Tucker are dearest of friends. And I would say that bond is going to be the same as the bond we have now. But just getting up with some dear friends was bringing tears to my eyes. Was so cool because you see each other's expressions. You see each other flying together. And it's such an emotional connection. And to think what they made possible for us is to have that same experience was incredible. Now Tucker scared me because he came up and the first thing he did was touch my wingtip. I feel like you're bumping into a guardrail, but he was very gentle.
Very gentle.
But if you guys ever have any kind of inkling about paramotors or want to try it, this is something to do with your friends and family. I really cannot express how important it is to say connect that. Matter of fact, my wife went from being absolutely terrified to saying we need to budget to get my oldest and my youngest son. First my oldest, because my youngest would do loops without
Mike would go crazy.
Yeah, Mike would do like a loop without rolling. That's now the family goal because you get to be so much closer when you're flying a fixed wing. You're flying together, and I love flying with Frank, but I can see him, but you're not connected with him. Yeah, that makes sense because you don't go 20 feet above the trees and dip down into fields. You stay at a safe altitude and you go to one location and you say left, right. This you get to explore. It's honestly like God gave you wings and you say, hey, let's drop down in this field. Let's go ahead and pop over these trees, and it was magical. Yeah. So look for Tucker's thing going on, but also again. Thank you, Aviator PPG, for the not only just blessing us with a long-term loaner to continue our passion, but most of all for the aspect of what you came down and gave to our community during this event. It was truly amazing.
And actually, while we're on the subject of Aviator, back when we went through training a handful of months ago, they actually showed us a sneak peek of a project that they were working on, and it's basically a documentary on their their road to not only they did a performance last year at Oshkosh, and that's kind of how we got in connection with them, was through Oshkosh. But this documentary not only covers that, but also kind of how they came together and formed the Paradigm Aerobatic team. And this is a documentary that I think they got funded, and it is now, I believe it just came out. It's live, and you can actually get it on the Amazon Marketplace.
Oh, nice.
I'm not sure. I'm not positive. I know it's on Amazon. I don't know if it's on Netflix or anything like that yet, but we'll link it below.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, it's a beautifully shot documentary. To see the behind the scenes of what went into their performance and how they. Right. It's called Road to Oshkosh, I believe, is what the name of it is. Check the links below. Definitely check it out if you have any interest in PPGs or just aviation in general. Yeah. You'll definitely love it. It's a very well done piece.
Gives you an incredible respect for the discipline they have to have, you know, because it's not like, weather is a big factor. So they gotta manage that. They gotta manage so many different things, and the fact that they pulled it off the way they did, and also showcases their friendships. It was really cool.
Yeah, and I think that's a great kind of segue into our next kind of situation here on this podcast, is that we talk about general aviation, we talk about Oshkosh, something that's been fantastic for you guys to be able to fly in those paramotors in generally and get the community involved in that, but also something that has been in the general aviation kind of genre for us has been, from the community standpoint as well, Josh, your Pietenpol, and we haven't talked a lot about it up to this point recently, but it's something that's near and dear to your heart, and kind of where some of the general aviation for flight test kind of stemmed with that first video. If you've not seen the video, we'll link it down below, of the story of your Pietenpol.
Yeah, Patches. That's what I named it. My wife doesn't like that name. Patches the Pietenpol. It's actually Howard Henderson's Pietenpol, and what a blessing. It's been the source of already so many memories. Now, if anyone knows me, I'm still a student pilot, so I'm not flying my kids in this. But it's been a fun year, to say the least. And, during the last annual and stuff, there were some things that came up that needed to be addressed, and that kind of shut me down for the year. But recently, I got to get her all back together, new annual, everything's good. But we swapped out. I found out something really interesting. The value of going through your logbook is huge. If anyone watched the first takeoff I had with mine when I soloed it, you'll see I'm kind of dead-faced. I'm really serious. I'm looking around. I'm kind of acknowledging I'm very robotic. And then all of a sudden I get the biggest smile on my face and just kind of explode with joy.
That's crazy.
I'll be open. There's a very big reason for that. Was up until that point, I didn't have a safe turnaround. And that's scary. You know what I mean? Anytime you're flying something you don't fully have a trust of, it's super easy to fly. But we found out something else. We found out that before I got it, going through the logbook, the original head that Howard built, which was a 6-to-1 head, put out about close to 50 horsepower, was swapped out for a 4.5-to-1 head. So it went from about 48 to 50 horsepower to 37.
Oh, wow.
And so there's a reason why I was patting on the side saying, you can do it, buddy, you can do it, buddy, and I get so happy. So we got a new head ordered, and through last year and stuff, there's a lot of backstory, I'm sure. I think we'll be doing with some video content. But we got a new head ordered, got a brand new rebuilt Model B carburetor from a wonderful gentleman in California. I had a sunken bull float and some jets that needed reworked. So long story short, we just took the winner. It's like this thing is getting off the ground, but there's no way it's going to fly two people, and it's really kind of sketchy with me. So we wanted to step back and just let's make this thing safe.
Right.
So put the 6-to-1 head on it, fired it up. This thing fired up first pull, and I have never been behind this engine now. It's a completely different engine, and I guess the reason why we were laughing because I came in, I think it was kind of like a cloud 9 that day.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Put the new 6-to-1 engine on. It ran, got 150 RPM more, which is actually like 20% more power now.
Wow.
And took it down the runway just for a fast taxi. And before I even had it to full throttle, the thing was in the air.
Wow.
And it just hopped
That's
in
fantastic.
the air. The control response on the rudder, I didn't have to, if anyone watches my video, you'll see it looks like I'm paddling myself in the air. It's because there's a skid. There's no brakes, and there's a skid on there.
Right.
And it was pretty awesome. So really looking forward to doing some more content with the Pete. Everyone knows my passion, my love of my dad. And this was a really connecting factor of us working on the Project Pete, which we still have. And then my wife and I wanting to buy this one to continue that journey with my kids because they're getting old very quick. And frankly, I'm not going to have this Pete done before they're adults. So, this has been a source for honestly, for me to kind of go back and reminisce of what I had with my dad.
Right.
And then also for me to connect with my kids outside of phone board airplanes. And because this is so much part of my life, I have to do something different with my kids because frankly, when I give them a phone plane to fly and we fly together, I'm beta testing them. I'm like, so what do you think of the experience? So what do you think of the flying characters?
So what do you think about that?
I cannot turn that off. So we need something different. That's why we build tree houses. That's why we do those things. But the Pete, every time I'm working with it, Frank Pavliga is is honestly like my new father figure, and he's been around my life all my life, and God has a perfect sense of timing, the right people at the right time for the right reason, and this was definitely part of it,
right.
And it's fulfilled a really powerful dream of my life. But I'm happy to have her back together, because I felt like when it was apart, like part of me was apart, and it's like okay, and it took the whole winter, and then when it was ready to go, it was travel for business and stuff. So Pete's back. If anyone's wondered where it is, the Pete is back. It's in good condition, and hopefully we'll be shooting some content.
It flies a little bit better these days.
Let's just say this: I was about 600 feet before I got off the ground. With the other one, I couldn't have even been more over 350. And I started off the cross parts of the runway, and I had her up and I put her down. I didn't fly the runway. I still need to do proper pre-flights and get the annual finalized. But it was pretty awesome. Yeah. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely be flying a little bit.
Yeah, and it's funny that the Pete went into hibernation, as it were.
Hibernation's a good way.
While you got into paramotoring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's hilarious and it's not hilarious, but it's crazy how God kind of moved in that scenario where that was kind of your passion, pushing forward into that. And then that kind of got hibernated, and then boom, here comes another thing that he's like, all right, Josh is going to need something else to hang out with and chill with.
And Eric was nice enough. He sent us a wing home to practice kiting continue, and I stole that wing more than I think anybody. And I had my youngest in the kite, and I had to hold him down because a breeze would pick him right up, and it was just such an awesome bonding time. The Pete does two things to me. It gives me a connection back to my memories with my dad. It gives me a connection to my dear friend Frank Pavliga, and it also gives me an activity with my kids.
Right.
The reason I say activity and not flight time is because honestly, when I got the opportunity to buy that piece of history, Howard Henderson Pete is probably one of the most documented Petes in existence. I really wanted an 0200, brakes, something that was safe, that was going to get us off the ground and power through. I still don't have a piece about taking my 160-pound kid, off with that plane. So I really don't know what the reality is going to be with the Pete and us flying together with my child.
Right.
But what really gives me hope and joy is I can do that with the paramotors.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll fix it up. We'll fly it. It'll be a common activity. We'll have those memories. I'll have the connections with my dear friends. But the paramotors, and my wife agrees, when I'm flying a paramotor, I'm not worried about the motor. If you chop the motor and I'm 25 feet up, you're fine. It's a 9-to-1 glide ratio at 25 miles an hour. Those kind of things are really, what go through your head, especially with how much I want to be on this earth. I feel there's a calling by God, but I also feel that there's a calling in flight test and in my family.
Right.
And it's not in my mind my time yet. So I want to make sure that I don't take any unnecessary risks. To number one, putting black eyes and stuff on this industry. I want to do everything responsibly. But the paramotors, when I fly it, there's no fear. There's just joy.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what really overcomes. Where with the Pete, it's the satisfaction of taking something up from 1928. You're flying technology from. I did that. That's my fault. Sorry. It's awesome. Every time. But that's it. I'm rambling on. But there's two different things. So you get two very unique rewards from two different aspects of flight, and they are, like you said, perfectly timed. And I look forward to growing in both aspects. I really want to. I really want to grow with the PPG. And at the same time, I really want to work through my ratings. I want to learn, helicopters, paragliding. I want to learn, every aspect of flight. And I think that's what our general aviation is going to get us the opportunity to do.
There it is. That's Josh Bix, everyone. And I will say that even though I haven't experienced that yet, I can see a joy on Alex's face and your face and Austin and Chad's face when you guys go up, and when you come down, it's like. I can't express it because I don't know how you're feeling, but it looks like pure joy. And like if you saw in the episode, and if you haven't, definitely go check it out. But Alex comes down and he is literally crying because he can't express without that the emotion that he felt flying. Yeah. And so just to give you some perspective from the outside looking in, I'm pulled in by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am literally drawn to this paramotor option of flight because of the joy and the feelings that you guys have poured into not only my life and our life here at FT, but the rest of the community's lives. So that's just a really cool thing. And I wanted to share that because, it looks cool, but when they come down, when Alex and Josh and them come down and you see their face, cool doesn't even describe.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Well, I am a big softie, but they say the Aviator guy said in training, before you even get in the air, they say this is going to change you. Mm-hmm. This is going to change who you are. It changes the way that you look at the world that you live in, and it really does. It really does change your life. And speaking of getting emotional and being a softie, going back to Flite Fest, we never really wrapped up our conversation about Flite Fest.
Kind of rabbit trail.
Some of the people, and there's a select few of you that were relentless in bringing a tear to my eye multiple times at Flite Fest. Seeing the kids and the families and all of the community come together, it's really something special. And to see people get it. Yeah. To get what we're going for, as we're trying to go for a different event, different RC event than anybody's ever done.
Yeah.
You see a lot of these RC events, and we've been to all of them, and we love them all. All Seth, Joe Nall, even Neat Fair, we love them all. We had tons of fun at all of those. But one of the things that we really take a lot of pride in is creating a positive, family-friendly environment for people to come and enjoy the hobby, aviation, all of the above. And 100%. Some people don't even fly. I mean, honestly, I only flew twice this year at Flite Fest, and that was more than I was expecting to. I wasn't planning on flying at all. I come there to see the people. It's like a reunion of so many people that I care about.
Yep. And how many wives, daughters, people you typically wouldn't see at a flying event really enjoying as a whole.
Yeah,
I just think was such a special testimony to what this event has become. And what an amazing community. I don't joke when I say it, best people in the world.
Yeah,
100%.
And I know we say it all the time, but
can't say it enough.
We sound like a broken record, but it's just truth.
Literally, I wore sunglasses the whole event, like even after dark, because I'd have fathers or even sons or people come up to me and just tell us about how much it's impacted them and how it changed their relationship with their dad or with their kid or whatever it may be, or how many memories they've made so far. It's really, really something unique. You can't really understand it until you're there.
I can't describe it in words. Just one of those things. And that kind of, when we talk about community and family reunion and impacting people in a positive way, family friendly, all this stuff, Flite Fest is definitely one of those things that you have to experience for yourself. Yeah. And just because of not because of us here at FT, it's because of the community that's involved, the volunteers, the family members that aren't even family, but they feel like family, that come from all over the nations, right? So if you get the opportunity to, I think we're talking about doing another one here in the near future. I don't even know. I don't know if I can say anything.
You can say South.
But South, something of that nature, Flite Fest South. It's on the shirt. That's right. We'll be doing one hopefully here in the near future, sometime in November-ish. Flite Fest South. We're not 100% on location, or maybe we are somewhere in Florida at the moment. But that being said, if you have the opportunity to come out, please do. Not only would we love to meet you, but the entire community, when you guys get together, special things happen. Yeah. They really, really do.
We want to meet you, but more importantly, we want you guys to meet each other.
Exactly.
We want to all hang out together. That's like the most important.
It's a huge meetup. That's pretty much what it is. So just come one, come all. We love you, and thank you so much for making Flite Fest what it is. You guys have been truly special in our mind. And leading out into the last point of this podcast is actually perfect, because we're talking about community. We're talking about helping each other. We're talking about making things more special because of the people involved. Many of you have come up to me, and if you don't know, my job role here at FT is the Community Engagement Manager. So I get to interact with all of you guys on a daily basis and get to see your emails and comments and all this stuff. And a lot of you have actually come to me and said, hey, do you know this guy named JC Culpepper? He goes by Project Blue Falcon on YouTube. He passed away, if you don't know the story, but he passed away recently. And I guess from what I'm hearing from a lot of you in the community is that he's one of those people, and this is the reason why I wanted to bring this up, is that he's one of those people that were selfless and wanted to get people into the hobby and made these how-to videos that really inspired and helped people get through problems that they otherwise could not do on their own. I actually got to go to one of the websites that was kind of honoring JC Culpepper just recently. and I was reading the comments. I was reading these stories that people were kind of saying, and essentially the gist of it was that every single person that was affected by JC essentially said, I feel like he's family. He's gotten me to a point where I can enjoy this hobby, because without him, I could not have made my quad fly. Essentially, he's pushed me through these barriers, and he's helped me with all his videos, and even people that were close to him in the interaction face to face, and people that have met him for one time at an event, and how they feel like they're close enough to him like family, which is very much like the Flite Fest motto.
Yep.
You know, and so the reason I wanted to bring this to light is that those people are an integral part of this hobby and this community, and you never know who you're going to touch or who you're going to influence by the things that you do and the things that you say. Because yes, he had a YouTube channel and he had 16,000 subscribers or whatever, but you don't have to have 16,000 subscribers to make a difference in someone's life. And in this case, JC Culpepper, Project Blue Falcon, did make a difference in so many people's lives, and he may not have known it.
Yeah.
Because they're all coming out now. But he did. I mean, it made a huge impact with a lot of these people. And our hearts go out to all the community members that were close to him, but also the family. Yeah, I know that there is, and there'll be a link down below, there's a GoFundMe page for the memorial service that will be coming up that I will link to down below. That goes for the family as well. So the fund goes to the memorial service, and then the rest that goes into a fund for his father and the rest of his family to get through this trying time. But like I said before, the reason we bring this up is, yes, to honor and to remember, you know, someone who really inspired this hobby and impacted a lot of lives. So just remember, the things that you say and the things that you do matter. Mm-hmm. You know, what we do here, we feel like it matters, yes. But even if you're not in our position with 730,000 subscribers, you may be a dad to a son, or you may be a friend to a friend, and maybe met somebody for the first time at a Flite Fest event or some random event. But the things you do and say matter. So make sure that you're thinking about those things and tell them to people. Yeah. You may only get it once. You may only see this person once, but it will have a long-lasting effect for days and years and lifetimes on end.
Yeah, you know, you bring up a powerful point. Oftentimes in this, you know, in aviation, RC community, sports, whatever, people think talent defines legacy. It's not talent that defines legacy. It's not how good you are. It's how much you invest in others. It's how much you bless others. So definitely encourage you. Don't be obsessed of how good you are, where you rank with things. Right. Be obsessed of how you serve others and how you love on others and how you improve their life. That's how you're going to be remembered. That's how you're going to be honored, and that's how you're going to be rewarded.
It's 100%. That's 100%. So if you want to give back to that situation with JC and his family, I will have that link down below.
That's me.
You can go and help fund that, or even just comment and let them know that you're thinking about them and that you're praying for them. We will be praying for them and continue to give them our support. Community as well, you guys have already done so. I've seen some stuff, but continue to keep them in your prayers and do anything possible to help them out in any way, shape, or form. Like we would want you to do for us and us to do for you. That's our kind of our brotherhood. Absolutely. You know, and that's what we're looking to do. So first and foremost, thank you so much for being part of our lives and helping and letting us to be a part of your life. We appreciate it. We love just being able to interact with you at a Flite Fest or even on this podcast. It really makes a difference in our lives that you guys are here with us. We just love to be a part of it. So first of all, thanks so much for listening and being part of this. Josh, thanks so much for being on. Alex, once again, thanks so much for being on. It's always a pleasure to have you guys here. And also, just for future reference, but people that you might want to see on the podcast, let us know in the comments below to see, you know, your favorite podcast peeps.
We're going to have more guests. We're going to be doing interviews.
And this is going to be going out before Oshkosh, correct?
Correct. Yes, so this will be going out tomorrow.
So yeah, if you guys are going to be at Oshkosh or Adventure, we would love to fellowship with you. Maybe we can put some links down. Isn't there like a schedule thing that people will be able to find?
I'm sure there's some things that I can put into the description.
Keep on the social medias.
Yes.
We definitely want to meet up with as many of you as possible.
For sure. And that's going to be fantastic. And hopefully we'll see you guys there. And thanks for listening. Make sure that you subscribe and rate us on iTunes. That's a huge help for us. We'd love to see what you guys are thinking. Good or bad feedback. We want it all. And also on YouTube, press that subscribe button, notification button, because we're doing a lot of stuff. We're doing podcasts. We're doing vlogs. We're doing regular episodes, full scale content, all the above. So we want to make sure that you guys have the opportunity to see all that. And thanks for helping us out and giving us all your love. And we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.
Deuces.